Hello, guys. Welcome back to the fifth episode of my podcast where I interview different YouTubers to find out more about their channels and themselves. I'm with my good friend Tim.
Hello.
Hello there. People always don't know whether to talk yet whenever I do that. There's always a slight gap. Yeah. But yeah, same as before. If you've seen my podcast before, you'll know I've got a list of questions here to ask our good friend, and he's just going to answer as honestly as he wants to, without going into too much personal detail. And yeah, it's just going to be a really good time. You can listen to this without watching it because this is just a podcast, so there's no video to watch, just sound. So you can play Minecraft or do whatever you want to do while listening to this video. So the first thing I'm going to ask you, which I ask every single person so far, first question is how you got into Minecraft.
Well, it'll probably make some Minecrafters mad. I was, oh, good golly, probably about 7 years ago.
Right.
I slowly started hearing about it, and I was working with this gentleman, and he went crazy about it. And I almost was borderline making fun of him because he was just this older man that literally was staying up hours and hours and hours all night, coming in tired because he's playing Minecraft. And I'm like, you're crazy. We build for a living. You don't have to build on a game.
Yeah.
And sure enough, there was some events that happened physically to me. Had to have a hernia mesh put in, so I couldn't physically build anymore. So sure enough, my son had been playing for years, and I always, was like, oh, I can't do it. I'm not playing that, son. And I'll be daggum. One day I sat down and actually started, and now I'm hook, line, and sinker, fully addicted to Minecraft.
That is, you say people are like, but that happens to a lot of people. I just interviewed Dragon Tech, and he said he was like the same. He said he thought he thought it looked stupid. He thought it was a bit silly. It was a kid's game. Then once you played it and you get into it, you realize how good it is.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it really gave me the outlet that I was looking for because I guess when I first had heard about it, it is that impression. It's like, oh my gosh, are kids game building? How simple can this be? And
Yeah.
actually, can be quite complicated.
Yeah. Well, especially for you because you play with mods as well. Like
Yeah,
so it's a lot more.
and see, that changed my whole world completely. I mean, once because I started off vanilla, obviously, and
Yeah,
I've got a
everyone does,
few
yeah.
vanilla words on my PS3 and then, of course, my Xbox. But then once I saw mods, I just was like, oh, I'm in heaven now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So obviously going to Minecraft. How long ago did you say you started playing?
I've been playing now for almost 2 years now, almost.
All
So
right.
it's not been too long, actually.
I mean, like in the Minecraft world, somehow 2 years is still relatively new.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. See, that's
somehow.
the thing. I look at a lot of people, and I'm like, well, really, I'm a noob at this
Yeah.
technically. So, and I am still learning. There's still things I see people do videos on, and they're
Yeah.
like, well, I know everybody's seen this, so I really don't need to do it. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, I haven't seen it. Can I please see it? So I'm definitely new. So
I've been playing since Alpha, and even now I still feel like a noob most of the time. I think some people are just naturally so good, and some people are naturally just like, I don't know, like me. I just struggle a lot.
Well, I mean, it depends on what I'm doing in it, because some things can go smooth, and then sometimes it's just like I'm beating my head against a wall.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you there.
Yeah. Well, that actually kind of brings me to my second question, which was, what's your favorite thing to do when you're playing Minecraft?
Most definitely. See, it's funny. I love making like dwarven mines. I don't know why it comes easily, and I've yet to actually do it on a video.
Right.
But I really love just making dwarven mines. It just something about it is relaxing. Just
Right.
start clearing out under there. But now in like vanilla Minecraft, I can't stand mining. That's
Oh
only in
no.
creative mode. Yeah, if I'm
Yeah.
in vanilla Minecraft, oh, I hate mining. It just drives me nuts.
Yeah.
So in that respect, it's just more just straight building for me is what I enjoy. Now when I do go survival, the adventures are fun, but oh my gosh, it can get nerve wracking.
Yeah.
I mean,
It really
I hear
can.
the noise. I'll be mining and I hear a noise and I'm jumping in my chair. So it kind of is fun, but it kind of also takes the fun out of it because I can't concentrate on building. So that's why I switched over to a bit more of the creative mode because it just helps me focus in on what I would like to do more of. So, but the vanilla is definitely fun.
Yeah.
But then I just get wrapped up, but it's like hours go by and I haven't completed nothing because I've been running around resource gathering or fighting creepers because
Yeah.
it's a personal war with me with creepers. I just like to kill them all.
That's funny how you say like you hate mining, but like I was in the viewing C3PO and Norman game, and they love mining. It's like their
Yes,
favorite thing to do.
yep, some people, and I'm like, oh, bless your heart, you are an amazing person.
Yeah, like, I don't have the patience to spend hours mining and end up with nothing. It
You see,
happens
that's me.
sometimes.
I see people go down in a mine and 2 minutes in, they found diamonds, and I can be
Yeah.
on here for hours. And I'm like, where is a daggum diamond at? Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? So yeah, I'm with you. It's
Yeah.
in creative mode. I like it because I can just take chunks away and then just start, almost start over.
Yeah.
So it's
I know
funny.
what you're saying. I think creative is brilliant for builders who just want, like, you're a medieval builder. That would be fair to say, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I love my medieval style. It,
Yeah.
it just sticks with me.
So when you want to do like huge, massive builds like you do, it in survival that's obviously a huge, massive challenge. When in creative, you can just get on with it. You can just start building and do what you love. Yeah.
Yeah, I started off my series doing survival because Conquest had just released their version of survival because they were only doing creative mode. So I wanted to give it a try, and it is fun. And I'm probably going to do another series just on survival.
Mm-hmm.
But once I realized the scale of what I'm trying to build with a
Yeah.
book I'm writing with it was like, I'll be building for 20 years and never have what I want to accomplish.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to ramp it up and switch over to creative. And so I hope it didn't make any of the viewers mad. I know some people, they really, really love their survival. So
It was like I build stuff and I build survival, but I do understand that there's so much off-cam work you have to do when you build in survival. So much resource gathering, so much preparation. Whereas in creative, you can just do it. You can just build it. So I understand why you would do it because it is so much easier and less time-consuming.
yeah, because when I sit down for survival, it's like, well, what am I going to record to show people? To me, if you're playing survival, your personality is it's almost like streaming in a way. Your personality really has to come through a whole lot more, whereas
Yeah.
creative, your builds can kind of help speak for you. I mean, you got to be a personable person, but to me, it helps me easier because sometimes I'm not that outgoing.
Right.
So I definitely
I know what you're saying. Like in survival, you do a lot of filler between doing it's talk for yourself.
Yes, and it's like you mean when I watch yours, it's like, okay, it's just fluid, it's like, oh, this is nice. It's like not steppy. And I've noticed myself, especially with vanilla, it's like, okay, I can definitely tell I got lost at that moment and I got lost at that moment. So, but I do want to try it again because I'm getting more comfortable with the whole YouTube system. So eventually I will do another survival just so people can laugh.
Yeah. I think survival, it's a lot easier to and build an audience, I think, when you're survival because they get to know you more as a person. Whereas when you just do creative, the only thing they know about you is your builds, which is great for getting an audience if they like that. But I think it's easy to get an actual community when they know you a bit better.
Yeah, and that's my ultimate goal. I would like to be on a vanilla server and a modded server, and I found a modded server. They're just kind of running slow. He's got other things going, but eventually I do want to join a vanilla server because y'all all have so many great communities, and that's what I like too. Is you get to interact more on that personal level and actually learn about people, and that is my next step. So
yeah, that'd be great. Well, that kind of talk about YouTube. That kind of brings me into what the next question was is what made you want to be a YouTuber?
Funnily, I know everybody says they don't want to be famous or all that, or not really famous, but kind of have a living at it. And that was my first thought because obviously not being able to work now and lift and do things like that. Still fighting the whole disability thing, which is a whole nother world.
Yeah.
It was my thought that, okay, just sit down and see, and maybe, possibly start, eventually get to my goal and make, a few bucks. I'm never going to be a millionaire or a thousandaire or anything like that. But then it dawned on me too that it's a great, I don't know the proper word. It's a great, almost like a storytelling for my kids, that there's something that they'll be able to see that their dad did and go back and, almost like a video capsule for them. So that really, really means a lot to me. So that's probably one of the biggest reasons. And, if I do get monetized, and I can make a few bucks, and like I say, a few bucks, literally, I would just be happy.
Very literally a few bucks.
Yeah. So it's like I told my wife, and even Grumpy, he made the perfect point. It's not the YouTube that you make the money off of. It's pretty much branding yourself and marketing yourself to the people that commercialize. So it's like, if you want to make the money, that's where you got to go. And to me, I just can't see myself as that person.
No, I'm with you.
Some people
I
good at
can't
it.
either. Yeah.
Yeah, so I enjoy it, and it's lovely because I'm getting to meet people because I don't get out the way I would like to because of physicality. So it's really, really made a difference in my life. So those three things for me are the biggest reasons I continue to do it. And the community is just awesome.
Yeah, we have an amazing Twitter community, don't we? Everyone's so nice
Yes.
to each other. Everyone's so active with each other. It's really a great place to be, Twitter.
Yeah, I've yet really. I mean, I had one person on Twitter, probably about maybe 2 months ago, that he didn't like a comment I made, and he didn't really get hateful, but he kind of got a little bit nasty. But I've been really blessed that all the people I've surrounded myself with are just amazing, great, positive people, and that to me just makes my day. I can have a bad day and hop on Twitter and see y'all's comments, and it does it lifts me up and helps me. So that's, to me, is just huge in today's age, with so much negativity going on.
Yeah, exactly. That's a huge, massive thing I love about Twitter as well, because obviously in the outside world, we're not living. I don't want to get too preachy, but we're not living in a great time in the world.
Right.
And I think on Twitter there is. I mean, there's a lot of hate on Twitter as well if you go to the
There
wrong
is.
places. But in our little secluded area that we have going on, the majority of people are so nice and supportive, and it's a nice escape from the world for a bit. To go in a different area where everything's a lot nicer.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, because if we don't have an escape, I mean, we'll all go nuts. I mean,
Yeah, we would.
We're scratching our heads and eyes out. It's like, oh my gosh. So yeah, I totally agree. I can get on Twitter and interact, and it's like for a lot of people. I mean, football, and same way. When you get into a sport, you can just let go. And that's, to me, that's huge. A good movie does the same thing. Watching videos, the YouTube videos. My wife's always like, "Don't you want to watch regular TV?" And I'm like, "No, this is actually more entertaining to watch people I'm actually communicating with." So
yeah, it brings it to like a whole different level when you actually know the person. Maybe not
it
personally,
does. I mean,
but you're acquainted with them, and it's much nicer.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you. I mean, the more throughout the time, the more and more I just learn these little, snippets of your life, which helps, learn more about you. And it does. It really, to me, it's one of the neatest things about it, especially if you're paying attention to people, is you're literally growing a friendship right in front of your eyes. Even though it's not physical in front of you, it's still a friendship. So it's amazing to me.
That was one of the reasons I liked the idea of this podcast, was so people can get to know their YouTubers who they're watching. Obviously, like smaller YouTubers, I don't think I would ever do big ones, because when people obviously in our Twitter group, we all know each other, but we don't know each other. So I thought, I'm going to interview everyone in our Twitter group so we can all get to know a little bit more about each other. And so far, everyone's really enjoying it. So I'm really pleased.
Yeah, I love the idea you got, because everybody, they always do like a Q&A special, when they hit milestones, and that is neat to me. It's great, but to do the podcast way that you're doing, you're really getting the bigger sample size of that person. For me, and it's really neat. I learned things about C3PO, Captain, and Grumpy that I didn't know, and I mean, they're the first people that I've met on Twitter and have known for months now, and it's like, wow, okay, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know that. So I mean, I've been loving it. You've got a great thing going here. It's just amazing.
Well, I'm glad you can be part of it now. It's going to be a great add to the series.
Yeah, I told my wife, I was going to be famous. She was like, huh? And I'm like, yeah, I'm getting interviewed. She was like, you don't have a job? And I'm like, hey, you can get interviewed and it not be for a job. It's like, somebody wants to learn something about me.
Yeah, you're interesting,
So this is a first for me in my life. I can honestly say, being interviewed and it's not for a job or something I did bad. So I'm quite tickled. This has made my day. I really appreciate it, Zoo.
No worries. I'm sure we're all very glad to have you. So if we talk a little bit more about your, obviously you only have one Minecraft series you only have one series on your channel, and that is the Conquest, the Reforged mod. So what kind of got you into that?
I don't remember how, but I started watching because I was watching Rendog for his vanilla channel, and for some reason Ducon Red 1, which is one of probably the biggest Conquest builder, popped up, and the first thing that caught me was the detail of the build, and I'm like, well, how did they do that? That can't be Minecraft. So once I started watching his videos and realized it's a mod that you attach to it, I just started delving into researching how I could do it if I had the computer to do it, because it does demand a lot on a computer, as my poor first one being dead now knows. But yeah, once I did that, I knew for the type of building that I wanted to do, it's perfect for me. I mean, because I have a lot of respect for people that build in vanilla and they can bring that detail out. Because to me, that's hard, because you don't have all the detail blocks there. So it blows me away when people do that. So when I saw Conquest had the detail, I fell in love. So
it
I
kind
mean,
of
I
adds like a
might.
whole nother level to the game, isn't it?
Well, and that's the thing. I look at some of like Articraft's one of them. If you go on their server, and it's just you look at these builds these people have done together, and it's just it's mind boggling. I'm like, it's like walking around a real city. It just it immerses you in it. So, and when I see vanilla builds do that, it's like to me, it's like it's just amazing that people can do that, because that was my biggest problem with vanilla is I had to base a lot off of pictures because I just didn't have the physical block there. So like being a former woodworker, you know, I can imagine anything because I had the ability to build it because of the wood. But with vanilla, I didn't have certain blocks, so I really just was killing myself. So I would take a picture and then just rebuild the picture with a few changes. So
I can see what you're saying. Yeah.
And then with Conquest, that made it. I mean, I'm getting used to it because you have. I think it's. I can't remember. I think it's over 7,000 or 8,000 blocks now, and in the different variations. So even now, there's still blocks that I'm just like covering, going, "Oh wow, I didn't know that did that." So that's probably one of the big downsides of it. Is it does take a little while to actually start making your things look like what you want, because there is so much detail. So
you're kind of lost with options because
exactly, and that's why I stuck myself to the medieval theme right now, because I knew it would put me like in a straight line of direction, you know, because with medieval you can't vary but so much because we had a certain architecture during those times. So that's why that made it easier for me. But now I'm being able to branch it out a little bit because being able to use it more. So
I with the Conquest Reforged mod, it's all kind of medieval anyway, isn't it? So it's all there for you.
Yes, and I think that's how they designed it at first, which is funny because now they're actually trying to not be known just for the medieval builds. So they've gotten people trying to build like apartment buildings, and I've seen a few of them. They do look really good, but it's hard once you get labeled something to lose that, you know, to change that label. So
it is. Yeah,
I think they'll always be just
the medieval
known as the medieval mod. Well,
I mean, there's still nothing wrong. Obviously, they just want to expand, but there's nothing wrong with being known as like the best place to do like these medieval builds. Like, that'll be the first place people go to, and that's still really good for them. And obviously, people like you who are recording them and helping them, like you're basically advertising for them for free, basically for them, and it's really cool.
Yeah, my wife sometimes she gets not upset, but she's like, "Well, you know, you're doing so much for them, and what do they do for you?" And I'm like, "Well, honey, I don't look at it that way. I mean, you know, granted, they put me on their, you know, their main web page as a Conquest builder, which to me, that's cool. It's like, okay, honey,
really cool.
that's nice. I'm on their website, so you know." And she looks at it a little differently. I'm like, you know, I don't look at it that way. You know, it's kind of. It's almost to scratch your back, you scratch my back, you know, and see how good of a friend you become. So, but some of them, it is the problem too with some of the Conquest is they only want to stay in that little zone of people. And I want to build with Conquest, but I don't want to just know the Conquest builders. I mean, I want to know all the builders of, you know, vanilla or, you know, like Mech and Magic that, you know, see through all of that. I mean, it's like all of that interests me. I don't just want to know the Conquest people. And some of the Conquest people, they like to keep it in-house. So that's the only downside sometimes. But that's why I steer clear from it. You know, I don't really jump in too deep into that community. So
I get both sides. I understand you also obviously you want to expand. You want to be locked into one thing. You wouldn't be able to experience different mods. Whereas to them, sorry about the sequels, by the way. I can't really.
Oh, you're fine.
I live by the beach, so. But
that's actually pretty neat. I was like, oh, that is cool.
They're all called Steven Seagal.
Oh.
For them, I guess it's like anything they want to like keep safe in their own little group, where like they're not gonna like lose people. So I can see on both sides. I guess it's whatever you prefer. You know, everyone. Some people like to just pick one mod and stick with that forever. People like you, me as well. I like to expand. You know, explore different avenues. So you know, you can see where everyone's coming from.
Yeah. And that's the thing, you know. I mean, I love the mod, and I'll always use it as long as they have it. But I don't want to, you know. It's like Grumpy said. Do you want to be, you know, just tied down to that? Because then you're going to be tied down to the things that happens with it. And he made a very good point. So I do want to, you know, do a vanilla series or another mod series that, you know, is just slightly different, because I do think it's, and the beauty of YouTube is we can have that variety. You know,
easily,
so we don't have to just be stuck. I've only kept to one series because I'm quote still new. So
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's been about 6 months now you've been uploading, haven't you?
yeah, it's probably
I
yep.
mean, in the YouTube world, that's still relatively new, so I can see where you're coming from. But again, like with YouTube is good because there's nothing stopping you from starting a new series at any time you want. You don't have to get
Yeah,
permission. You don't have to ask people. Like if you want to do any series, you can just do it. Like there's nothing
right.
stopping you. It's such an open platform, which is one of the things I love about YouTube.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, to have that ability, it's like tomorrow I can wake up and go, well, you know what? I'm going to build, something else, or even play another whole different type of game, which I've actually
Hmm.
thought about too.
Yeah,
It really does give that ability, so you don't get tied down. Because I know a lot of people do like variation. I just really love building,
yeah,
so that's
yeah.
that's why you see it a lot. And I try to tell people, it's like, I'm sorry if that's you see a lot because I just. As being a former builder and then not
Mhm.
being able to do it every day, it's hard. It's like I could understand people retiring from things and
Yeah.
not really wanted to retire but
Mm.
just knew they had to.
Mhm.
It's almost torture sometimes. So
Yeah, I can imagine that. If I like, I'm a builder, as you know. I do
yeah,
a bit.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
if
just get
someone
an
said to me
enjoyment out of
tomorrow,
it.
yeah, if someone said to me tomorrow, you can't be a joiner anymore, I'd be gutted.
Yeah,
I'd be devastated. And so I know exactly where you're coming from. You want to keep doing it, but you can't. So you got to find another way to get that same sort of enjoyment, which you get from well, not just Minecraft, but the Reforging mod as well.
yeah.
So yeah, that's great. It's great that you have somewhere else you can get that satisfaction.
Yeah, it definitely helps me because my old mentor boss, he's a British bloke, and
Mhm.
he's always laughing at me. He's like, "Well, I never expected you to build in a fictitious world when
Yeah,
you couldn't really build." And I'm like, "Well, you taught me to keep on using my hands and my brain, so
yeah,
I guess you can't complain too much."
yeah, yeah. So, but what I ask, what is it about medieval that you like as well?
A lot of it is the history, because I'm a history nut.
Hmm.
I just all types of history. But it's just something about the simplicity that literally people lived very simply. Not, and it wasn't all efficient, but it was just a simple way. Like
Hmm.
the different ways people don't even realize that we used our own pee. And I know it sounds gross and nasty, but it's like those simple little things we almost take for granted nowadays. As we live in this modern big world, and it's like we want to go green. And I'm thinking, okay, well, let's just look at a lot of the medieval times because
Yeah,
literally they were very, in so many ways, they were environmental, not
yeah.
all of it, obviously, but very environmental that they did the recycling and things and used everything. And
Hmm.
it fascinates me to see the architecture that they were able to put behind that simplistic way of thinking. I mean, 20-foot, thick walls. It's like just it's mind boggling to think how you did that and did it
Yeah.
quickly. It's crazy.
Well, it's
And
like buildings from that age are still going strong today, and we can't make buildings that last more than 10 years.
thank you. I mean, we build over here in America, and if the house is 40 years old, they're going, well, you need to redo the whole house. Are
Yeah,
you kidding me? I mean, they have buildings standing for thousands of years.
yeah,
It does. It blows me away. It's one thing with my old boss, being from England, it's one thing me and him could always connect with is, there's a pub over there that he loves called, I think it's called the Swan.
oh yeah,
And little and above the door, I think it's like 1200. And he said, it's not the address. He's like, that's when it was built. And I'm
yeah,
like, see, that's just amazing. I mean, over here, we're building toothpicks so they can snap. Oh,
yeah.
it drives me batty. So yeah, the fact that we can still see it and the architecture and the dedication that they put into it, it really pulls me in.
I guess I can see someone about the dedication, especially because they didn't have our power tools. They had like hammer and
Yep.
chisels.
Yeah,
Like,
it's amazing. And then to
yeah,
use the water and the wheel to make a water wheel with just your hand tools. I mean,
yeah.
people, that's complicated.
I wouldn't even know how to start. So
It is. I mean, I watch some of them and I'm like, wow, I've been doing this for a long time and I didn't think of that. That's like,
yeah,
oh, crazy.
yeah. It is
It does.
like
If
most
Go
people just
ahead.
don't appreciate. I think as builders and woodworkers, we can appreciate that, but most people have no idea how amazing it really was.
Yeah, I mean, and just simple things, like making a chair, we now
Yeah.
just go buy it. And well, back then you went down to the carpenter and, you had to pretty much put that order in and it's just amazing.
Hmm.
And then you're
Yeah.
just not ready to make.
That's one of the things I would like about the old days, where people buy mass-produced furniture, like they go to IKEA and they'll
Yeah.
buy like a chair. That's a pretty decent chair for like, I don't, well, for you maybe like what I'd say $30
Yeah.
for like an okay wooden chair. Like in the olden days, you have to go to a carpenter and you have to order the chair. You have to tell them what you want, and they would make it for you from scratch,
Yep.
and it would be like an original piece that was really well made. whereas all this modern furniture falls apart really fast. And that's something that I kind of miss from the old days, where I would love to have done that. I would love to have been a bench joiner or bench carpenter and made that furniture, because people just don't want it anymore. It's old fashioned and no one wants it.
Yeah, I'm with you. And you try to explain to them that if you now, I mean, I know we're still going to have mass production because so many people, but if you could just get people to understand that if you keep this custom part alive, you will have a product that will outlast anything you're going to buy.
Yeah.
And it's like, my old boss, he would always say, he's like, woodworking and a piece you make becomes a part of your family or a part of your, your culture and your heritage.
Yeah, it does.
Just when you go buy it, at a store, you're never getting the same thing. It's just, it's not possible. And I agree. I mean, something that I got to go order and a person's going to put their own physical 2 hands in, you just can't duplicate it. I mean, to me, it's hard to even put a price tag on it.
Yeah.
I've sometimes had people come up and go, well, how much would you charge me to build this? And I would be like, I really don't know, because one, I enjoy it so much. I really, it's hard for me to put a price on. I just like, take it. You need, so I totally agree.
Yeah. I'm always giving. I think you've seen a bit more of my palette art. I give it that all away because I love it so much. I don't charge people for that. If I make something for fun, I have nowhere to keep it. I don't want to keep it in my shed forever. I just give all my projects away and I let everyone enjoy them.
Me and my boss always said we die. What is it? Dying, starving artists.
yeah, we all. Yeah.
Because we give everything away. And
I think
but it as a builder, you see the enjoyment in somebody's face, and to me that makes it worth it,
I think with a lot of old-fashioned, like making stuff yourself, it's so much better quality, and that's why they do become heirlooms. Like if you buy a chair from IKEA, it'll break. No one really cares. No one's like emotionally invested. If you make a chair and you give it to someone as a present, like it's like part of an heirloom now. It's part of, like you just said, it's part of the family. And it's a pretty big deal. I know people are listening, they're probably thinking, why on earth did these guys going about carpentry for? This is about Minecraft YouTube. This isn't just about YouTube, this is about learning about the people who are on YouTube. So this is me and the people learning about what you're interested in. And unfortunately, it's what I'm interested in as well. So I'm able to enjoy this a bit more as well. And my seagulls are going crazy.
It is funny. I do like that in the background. At first, I kept thinking, man, he's got this cool little sound effect. That is neat.
that's live animals outside my house.
That's pretty good because you can't pay for stuff like that. That's pretty nice.
So, I guess like wrapping it back into topic, I guess with Twitter. So how did you get into Twitter? What made you think, oh, I'm going to make a Twitter account and get into all that kind of stuff?
The big thing with Twitter, I saw or read somewhere, because I figured out pretty early that if I wanted anybody to view my YouTube channel, that I had to quote advertise in some way, shape, or form.
Yes.
And that was before even I knew about Discord. So I pretty much just found out that Twitter was a good way that you could connect because I kept seeing it on my YouTube channel. So through that, I just got on, and I believe it was C3PO or Captain. It was one of those two that were one of the first ones to interact and follow me. And then, of course, after that, here we are today. I think I started about almost 4 or 5 months in, and yeah, it's a fun, sometimes crazy world, but boy, it is fun. I have to say, it's amazing. So yeah, really, I got into it to advertise for my channel, but then once I realized what Twitter was, Captain America said it best. If you're going to be a part of the community, you don't just use Twitter to advertise your own self. You're there for everybody and yourself as well. And that's why, the interaction is important. So some days I can't, I don't interact as much, and I'm like, I feel bad. It's like, oh, darn, I need to get on here and at least say something to people, so they at least, feel I'm not ignoring. So, and that's the only sometimes not a downside is you feel you have to sometimes.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
So it's like I don't want people to think I'm forgetting them because, and that's when my wife gets on me. She's like, they're not thinking that. So
I think
I can be too hard on
most
myself.
people who are reasonable would understand that you do have a life. Your entire life isn't based around Twitter or YouTube. You've got a life outside the internet, which I think most people should understand since they have experience with themselves.
Right. Well, and it took me, and I didn't realize I don't know the proper word for it, but mean, Twitter is like a whole nother world. I
It is,
mean,
yeah.
you can't just join and think, okay, I know how all this works. I mean, I'm still actually learning some of the nuances of Twitter and the people involved in Twitter. So for me, that's still been like a journey of discovering. It's like
Yeah.
you're learning YouTube and Twitter at the same time for me. So
Yeah.
it's been fun. Sometimes a little frustrating because you can get some things come across your feed that you can't control.
No, well,
And it's
yeah.
like, how did this pop up? And I know probably some of my stupid stuff does on other people's, and it's like, so that aspect of it does get a little annoying, but for the community part, it's just worth its weight in gold. It's so great.
Yeah, it is. You mentioned about C3PO Cup followed you first. Now, one of the things I love about those guys and everyone else in our group is no one cares about the numbers to join the community. As long as you're a nice person, you're active, you get involved. Anyone can join our community. Numbers do not come into it, and I think that's a great way to view it.
Yeah, that was a big deal to me. I noticed early on that I wasn't being judged pretty much for anything, and that to me is a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, you can look at people, and you can always make assumptions, but until you start learning about a person, you really never know. And I really love that there was just no judgment. It was just acceptance and, hey, you're a great, seem like a good person, and this, welcome to the community. And it almost throws you off because in normal life you're not used to it. It's like, wait a minute, are these people being legitimate? What do they want? What's going on here? And it's like, well, wait a minute, I have nothing really to offer, so they can't want nothing. So it does take a little bit of getting used to, but now that being a part of it, it is so nice because actually now and you see it too, we're getting to see it slowly expand. It is a really nice thing. I think when Captain said the whole mentality of it, getting as big as we can but keeping the small mentality, that is a great goal. I'm a firm believer in that.
Yeah, it is nice. I would say most of us in our group, almost all of us, are relatively small YouTubers, and I think all of us in the group don't really watch any big YouTubers anymore because you kind of only want to watch your other smaller friends grow. And one of the things you just mentioned about we have nothing to offer, but no one in our community is getting anything back from this. None of us are making any money. None of us are getting anything. We're all doing it just for the pure fun of it, which I think is great.
Yeah, that's the other thing I realized. I mean, I know as a person who enjoys playing games, you realize there's a gaming community, but I didn't realize, I guess, probably the reach of the gaming community, because it's quite a large reach that the gaming community has. I mean, it is amazing. That kind of has blown me away of just how many people, and we're not talking young, just young people. We're talking, older men. It's like one gamer I saw the other day, he was 70 some years old.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to go shake this man's hand. That is just, I love it.
Yeah.
So that I love about you. You're right. The community is just, we're not taking, we're not, we're just literally helping give each other and just grow at the same time. And it's such a cool thing. I mean, when everybody hits their milestones, I mean, I get excited. It's like that, because to me, it proves one, you're doing something good, but you're also, it helps the community. If one person in the community hits a milestone, it helps somebody else in the community. And I really love that. It's like piggybacking, I guess you could say.
Well, every single time someone in our community hits a milestone, every one of us shares it and congratulates them, and it's dead nice. And they do the same for us. We're not doing it just to get back for us, we're just doing it because we genuinely care and we do like each other's content and we enjoy it. And I don't think anywhere else in the world, in real life, you see that. Or very rare anyway.
Yeah, no, it's a very, I guess you could say, selfish, and that's the other nice thing about, and not all the gaming community, but a good huge part of it is selfless. It's what can you need help, what can I do to help you, and vice versa. And it really creates a family. People laugh all the time and say, well, how can you really have a family when you don't even know these people? But you do come to know them. It's not the way people, it's not the normal way people think, but you do learn about these people and you become close to them. It is become a family.
You do genuinely miss them when they're gone as well. If they're
exactly.
If they're not on for a few days, you notice that they're gone. And you'll say to them, what's going on? Are you okay? Can I do anything? Do you want to talk? People do that all the time.
Yeah, and it's very nice because, I mean, I know even a lot of families sometimes don't even do that because they're just so used to being around you, and it is. Somebody asked me, hey, is everything all right? What's going on? It just generally lifts me up slightly. It's like, Well, that's just nice. It's nice to know, and I agree. It for me. All you Twitter and YouTube has helped come out of a shell for me a bit as well, because I was kind of drawing in after a lot of things that happened, and so to me it's helped out. I know the family's a lot appreciative. So
yeah, well, I guess Tom, you're okay to talk a little bit about the family side of things.
Yeah, I have a 6-year-old daughter, a 14-year-old son, and of course, a lovely wife. We'll be celebrating 17 years next month.
That's a long time. That's almost my age.
Yeah, I try when I say it fast so I don't think about it. So it's like 17. Okay, that was no biggie. No, I mean it's not been all fun, which it never is. I don't care. Any company says they are, they're lying. They're lying.
Yeah.
But no, it has been great. She has been. She's been my rock, and what a partner should be, most definitely. So, and then like I say, everybody laughs, especially my mom, because the distance in age between my two children, and I'm always the first one to say, look, me and the wife didn't plan for either one. That's why there's a 14-year-old, and that's why there's a 6-year-old. Because if I had planned it, they'd obviously been a whole lot closer.
I mean, I'm not gonna be watching this in a few years' time, thinking, "Oh, that wasn't planned."
Yeah. Oh, I tell them all the time. No, because even my daughter, she's like, "Well, why is Mason?" That's my oldest son. Why is Mason so much older than me, Daddy? And I'm like, "Well, honey, because we technically didn't plan or work this out. So you were like little Christmas presents, you could say."
Yeah.
And she'll be happy, and then she just trolls off. So
I mean, you say that's not actually a massive age gap to me. I have a brother who's only 5.
Well, see, and I saw that yesterday. I saw your tweet, and I told my wife, I'm like, "Oh, that is just classic. He's 21, because you get ready to be 21, right?"
I'm 21 in 7 days' time. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and then he's 5, so it's like, well, see, now he can kind of relate to Mason, because my 14-year-old sometimes he's like, "Dad, why don't you just leave me be?" And I'm like, "But Mason, she's 6 years old."
Yeah.
So yeah, you definitely understand that.
I'm quite fortunate. I would say fortunate and unfortunate, because he doesn't actually live with me. So when I see him, it's great. But I can escape though. Like, I'm not with him all the time.
Yeah, that's the one thing my son does say. Dad, I love y'all to death, but I might just leave the day I turn 18 so I can get some break. I'm like, son, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, it's a big for you as well, because you're like, oh, please, get rid of him soon.
Yeah, that's the thing, because I mean, I homeschool. Well, now we'll be homeschooling both of them, so. It can get so many questions. It's like, oh my gosh, I thought I asked a lot of questions as a kid, but now it's like, oh, good. Thank God for Google. I don't trust them for everything, but boy, I do use them a lot.
Yeah, especially homeschooling. That's really cool. If I don't want kids, I'll be honest, but if I did have kids, I would like to homeschool them, just because I don't like modern public schools. And obviously it's great. Obviously it's sad that, well, I guess it is sad that obviously you have to retire and you couldn't do it, but something good did come out of that, because now you're able to homeschool your children.
That's kind of, and that's what it took me a while to realize is, at first I was like, you almost feel like what's gotten taken away from you, or somebody stole it. But then once I started looking at the upsides, it's like, okay, now I'm getting to spend more times with my kids. And before I was a heavy alcoholic drinker. Cut all that out and quit. I've been almost 5 years sober. So it in so many ways I can look back and say it's probably almost one of the best things that happened to me.
Yeah.
But it is hard to say that sometimes, because you just want, you want to go out and build. It's like, oh, I want to build another cabinet, or it's like I hear my grandfather clock go off, and I built it, and it's like, oh, just to be able to sit down and build. And I can build on a small level. I mean, because I'm supposed to not lift over 20 pounds on a regular basis. Right. But, as human beings, we always push it. Yeah. So, but I just can't do it steadily. And that's what drives me nuts. Because, when you get into a project, you don't want to stop.
Yeah, you just want to work on it 24/7. I understand that, yeah.
Yep. So that was the killer. So, but yeah, I have to say, I have to thank the Lord that so many great things have come out of, especially with the children. So, my daughter, she always asks, "Daddy, did you ever work?" And I'm like, "Yes, Daddy used to work very hard, darling, but I never see you work." I'm like, "Well, gee, make Daddy feel just a bit better, don't you, girl?"
Yeah. So, kids have no filter, do they?
It is. It's the greatest thing in the world, They will say whatever pops in their head. And my wife looks at me, she's like, "Can you believe she just said that?" And I'm like, "Yes, I can believe that." She's a sponge. So
yeah, I kind of like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I mean, she definitely keeps me young and on top of my toes. She's a trip.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned you have a teenage son now, so is he interested in like woodwork at all?
It's funny. I've tried and oh man, have I tried. But he wants to go into the gaming community.
Alright.
He's looking more like a developer.
Mhm.
So I'm like, well, that it's technically not a bad world because it's growing fast.
Mhm.
But yeah, it doesn't look like we got woodworking in the future. But I'm still trying.
Yeah. I
It's like I
think
told him with mechanics. I was like, I'm not giving you a choice when it comes to mechanics. I'm going to force you to learn
oh,
at
yeah.
least the basics so you can work on your car.
Yeah.
I was like, with the woodworking, I mean, I won't force you. I hope that one day you'll want to.
I think when you
But
get older, you can appreciate it a bit more.
yeah, see, I was lucky, when I was younger, because my uncle, he owned his own mechanics garage, and then I
Mhm.
had, always people was building, and so for me, it was always hands on at an early age. So I pretty much knew very early on that I was going to be building in some way, shape, or form. So
Yeah. Well, that was just how it was back then as well, wasn't it? You didn't have an Xbox, you didn't do all that.
yeah,
You build stuff. That was how you passed the time as a kid. Which
yeah, very true.
I
And we
really
had
respect that.
well, see, and I didn't, and being with my old boss from England, I didn't realize the educational system that England has for like trades, which is
Yeah.
awesome. Because see, here in the United States, we're very limited on those outside trades. We have a Votech, I think we call them Votech schools, but
Mhm.
it's just not the same. I mean, when I learned he got a degree, he literally has a diploma in cabinet making.
Yeah.
I
Well,
was blown
I do as
away.
well. Yeah.
See, and that gets me. It's like, America, we got so many great things in America, but you mean to tell me I can't get a degree for cabinet making in the United States? This is
Yeah.
just stupid. And it's still to this day, it's one of my pet peeves about the United States. Drives me bad. He's like, for tradesmen, we don't do a whole lot to help people out nowadays.
No. Well, in England
So
now, you have to have those. My seagulls are still going mental. Sorry about that.
it's fine.
Like in England, like, if you want to go on a construction site, you have to have certain diplomas now and certain certificates. Otherwise, you're not allowed to step foot on one. Whereas,
See, and that's the way it should be. Over
Yeah.
here, they only do that if you're dealing with like federal or state projects.
Yeah.
So it's a big difference.
I guess like if as I'm self-employed, so I don't actually work on sites. I work in people's houses, and I build like kitchens, and I'll do skirting and anything with wood. I do, but I don't need a qualification for that. I can just say I can say to someone I'm an astronaut, and like there's nothing they can do to prove me wrong.
Right.
Whereas on construction sites, when it is like the council and the government, you do have to have those things. So I can guess I can see where it's coming from both sides.
When it's to me, it's also a nice validation. A guy comes up and says,
Yeah.
well, what do you do? And you can show him. It's like it is really nice because man, I've seen so many guys in the business that they're what we call the BSers. And I've got 20 years of experience, and they start talking and they can't even do the simplest thing, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I really wish there was some type of documentation people could show.
Yeah, to prove it. Yeah.
Exactly. So
At the same time, there's people who are so skilled, like maybe older gentlemen who have like done the entire life and know everything, but
Yeah.
because the certificates weren't available at the time, now they can't do certain things because they don't have the qualifications, even though they're 10 times better than the people who do, and that's
Yeah.
something that gets on my nerves quite a lot. But again, it's just the world we're living in.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that you've literally got to learn to adapt, or you will get left behind. I mean,
Yeah.
I always tell my mom, she's just adamant. She's like, "I'm not getting the computer. I'm not getting the." Computer. I'm like, "Well, Mom, you said that about the cell phone, and you have a cell phone." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Eventually, Mom, you're going to have no choice." And she's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I always have a choice." I'm like, "Okay, Mom, no, you're not understanding. I think one day you're not going to physically have a choice. You're going to have to." So she's just not willing to adapt.
Yeah. My grandmother, she is like 82, and she's got a tablet now. And
Oh, bless her. That is awesome.
And she's so terrible with it. Like she can't do the most simple. Like every day, she says to me, "Nathan, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do that?" I'm like, it's so simple. Like to me, it's frustrating because it's so simple to me, but to her, it's
Right.
like it's like space technology to her. So you kind of have to like sit down and think, "No, Zoo, she's new to this. It's not obvious to her."
That's
And-
classic.
Yeah, I love old people's technology.
It is, yeah. It can be fun, especially like I don't know if you've seen them like the huge extra big phones, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh. I mean, I know people get older and have a hard time seeing, but I mean, you're like almost thinking they're blind.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, at least she does have a tablet. I can't even get my mom to take pictures on her cell phone.
No.
I'm like, you do, Mom, I'm gonna take a picture. She's like, well, how am I going to do that? I'm like, oh, bless your heart.
My grandma was addicted to taking photos with her tablets. Everywhere
Oh,
she
that-
goes, she takes a tablet and takes pictures. And it's
That's
it's
pretty
a
good.
really old tablet now, so the picture quality is really bad compared to new tablets. She's had the
yep.
same tablet for about 6 years now, She refuses to upgrade. She's like, no, it's like, no, I like this one. I know how it works.
Right.
I'm not changing. And I'm like,
That's
okay,
funny.
okay. Like they don't even make it anymore because it's so old. And I'm like, okay, you know. But
That's
yeah,
yeah, that's pretty good.
yeah. But yeah,
Stuck in their ways.
yeah. Well, yeah, people do get sick of noise. But kind of again, rounding it back into the interview for YouTube. So, what do you have like any like other YouTube inspirations? Like people who you watch and said, "Oh, I want to do this like them." Like, what are your inspirations by people?
I look a lot. I would like if it would be possible to eventually have one day like a huge massive conquest. They have conquest servers,
Mm-hmm.
but to actually, start and run one to have more of the massive builds that you could do. Because I look at a lot of like Artocrafts one, and there's a few other Darwin Reforged, I think, and you see where more than one guy can go on and build together, and
Yeah.
the builds get a whole lot even more impressive. So that would eventually be a goal I would like to have. One of my biggest goals is even when I started was it's similar to Grumpy, but it's different in a sense that he's been writing a story, a lore with his
His own
Minecraft,
series.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and I've been doing. I started the same thing when I started, but my goal is to release it as a fantasy book eventually,
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to attach my builds with it because each build would be in the book. So that's my ultimate goal.
Like, that would be really cool. Like you'd read the book as you're watching the video.
Right?
That would be
Yes,
really
and you
cool.
could download the map and the seed, and you could walk the places. To me, that's my ultimate goal. But it's a bit ambitious.
There's nothing wrong with having high ambitions.
Yeah.
It just
So
means
I've been
you need to
writing,
work
and
harder.
and that's what people tell me. Is that, if you don't have goals, then there's no point. And if your goal is so simple, then once again, what's the point? So that is, my ultimate goal. I've been writing and I continue to write. I just don't release a lot of it on there because if I start talking about the story, then the video will never end.
Yeah.
As you could tell with this
Yeah.
interview, I can ramble on a lot.
No, that's great. Well, I like these to be roughly around an hour long. And we're on 45 minutes at the minute, so we still got time. So don't worry about it. But I like it when the interviewee talks more than me because it was people only watching this to listen to me. They're watching them to listen to the person I'm interviewing. So you're doing honestly, it's going great. Honestly.
Yeah, my wife told me this morning. She's like, "Now you make sure you don't cut him off every time." I'm like, "Well, honey, I got to at least let him ask the question."
Yeah, yeah. Like that's the bare minimum you're allowing me to do. Like he's not allowed to have any opinions, no thoughts. He's asking me the questions, and I'm taking over. Okay. Yeah.
Now you actually, I love the way, and that's what I told my wife too last night. The way you don't just ask the question and leave it. You know what I mean? The way you continually interact.
Yeah.
To me, that always makes for a better interview with anybody.
Oh, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. So, do you think? Does your wife and your kids watch your videos?
I'm slowly forcing her to. She's watched a few of them. She's a big, probably about 5 months ago. I was trying to get her into some type of gaming because she used to be the good old Mario Kart back in the day.
Yeah.
And I can't get her into any of the new ones. So unfortunately, I have to say that she got into Roblox.
Oh, the traitor.
Yeah. I'll tell you, it drives me batty, man. It does. And then I'm telling you, she loves Roblox. So between her and my daughter playing Roblox, I have to get away because it drives me nuts. It drives me crazy. I mean, I'm no disrespect to Roblox.
Oh yeah, I'm the same with you. Like you can play Roblox as much as you want. You will enjoy it. You love it. Enjoy it, but just keep it away from me.
Thank you. I just can't. So I've been trying to get her, because she tried to make a deal with me. She's like, "Well, look, I'll go on Minecraft and build with you." And I'm like, "Okay, what's the catch?" She was like, "I want you to start playing Roblox games with him." And I'm like, "I can't compromise that. I'm sorry.
No.
I'll continue to build by myself, honey. It's worth it."
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus,
I couldn't do it. It's...
When and you talk about toxicity, I mean, I just see some of the comments on Roblox, and I mean, I've got to watch my daughter like a hawk because of people in the comment, and then it just drives me nuts. So
a lot of parents like that with Minecraft because obviously you can go into any Minecraft server and end up with complete strangers who you don't know anything about them and it can be dodgy. And we can see people talk quite a lot about this, where as long as you install those safeguards into your children, like say don't go on any servers, I don't allow one, check with me before you do anything, don't talk to anybody that you don't know, then Minecraft is perfectly safe. It's only when parents don't tell the children about the stuff that things go wrong. So
yeah, it's when you're not monitoring. Yeah, you're right. Yep.
Basically, I don't want to say lazy parenting, but parents, naive parents, I guess is a nicer way to say it. To don't think that this is going to, because it does happen, and so
Yeah.
it does, unfortunately. But it only happens to the kids whose parents aren't watching over them, basically. So
Yeah, and
it happens.
they don't want to think it'll happen to them.
No.
They just live in this fantasy world. Going, oh no, no, no. Yeah, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, the days of it's like my grandma, bless her heart, she'd always leave her door unlocked.
My grandma says that, so she says no one locked the doors back in the day.
Exactly, and then it was always that case, and then I think maybe probably about 10 years ago something happens, and now she's the first to tell you, oh, I locked my door, and I'm like, you just
triple lockers.
Right, you can't take the chances anymore.
No.
So
Yeah,
I'm big on that because I mean, there's already been a few of the skeptical things try to come across. It's like, no.
Well, it's like my brother, he loves watching Minecraft videos, but he doesn't watch my videos because mine are too boring for him. He watches like proper kids videos.
Yeah,
like,
same with my 6-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, he's not interested in Let's Plays. He's just interested in watching some crazy guy talking nonsense while playing Minecraft. That's all he wants. Which is,
Yep.
But sometimes I watch the videos and I'm thinking, should he be watching this? Because this is, to me, this is just really weird. It's all perfectly innocent to him. I just keep thinking, do I let him watch this? And yeah, it is what it is. It's so easy to go into the wrong thing. Yeah.
Oh, I've watched like a lot of our videos are more family friendly than the family friendly videos that are targeting the young kids, and it blows me away. It's like, okay, this really isn't family friendly, and I'll tell my daughter, I'm like, okay, honey, we got to take this one off the list, and she'll look at me and go, oh, they did something that I don't need to hear or see, Daddy. I'm like, yes, baby, they did. I was like, so we're going to take care of this problem now. So yeah, she understands that, if you're not allowed to watch them, there is a good reason. So
I think it's about setting the examples. Well, like in your videos, obviously you're completely family friendly, PG, and you're not saying it's okay for me to do it, but you can't because you're only a kid. It's setting the example, which you do really well. But that's a really good thing to see.
Yeah, I would like, it's I think Cloutos, he wants to do some more of the the not like rated R games, but more of the graphic games, but being family friendly too. He's thought about another channel, and to me that's, if you're going to be family friendly and you want to play the others, you do have to separate it, because I mean, there are a lot of parents, and I know for a fact, that are looking for family friendly things for their kids to watch, because we are so saturated with just nasty garbage, as I call it.
Well, I don't know whether you know. I'm in a group called Weeby. I don't know. Have you heard of Weeby?
No, I haven't.
It's actually on my Twitter profile, like, in my bio. Weeby is basically a group of YouTubers or content creators who are family friendly. So like a parent can say, okay, you can watch any video by anyone in the Weeby group, and that was the whole point of it. So you can go into any one of our members, and you're going to know it's perfectly family friendly. And there's a lot of groups like that, which for Ruben. That's the name of my little brother. So when he gets a little bit older and he wants to watch proper Minecraft videos, I can say, okay, he's a group, Weeby, for example. You can watch any of their videos. There's loads of people in the group. Go crazy with them, and I know it's going to be safe. And that's one of the really cool things I like about that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look that up there after we get done here. I love that.
Yeah. I think it's mainly parents who are in the group who like have their own kids and like, okay, I want my kids to only watch safe channels. And I think like what Thomas said, people, there are all loads of safeguards like that. That as long as you know about them, you can do it. But obviously, if you don't educate yourself as parents on what's going on YouTube and on Minecraft, your kid's going in alone, really, which no parents want.
Yeah, you got to know. You got to keep up. I mean, any parent that doesn't watch what their kids are watching, you're just asking for trouble. I mean,
of course.
I know back in I hate to say back in my day, but I mean, it was more of a not a hands off approach, but you just didn't have all these things that you could get in trouble with.
Yeah, that's it. It was a much safer time. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Mom could see me getting in trouble because I physically had to do it, rather than I could sneak my phone around the corner, and she can't see. So, and she even says, she's like, I couldn't have kids today, and I'm like, Mom, I actually agree with you. I don't think you probably could, because it's a different animal, and some of the stuff it's scary actually sometimes.
It is. You have to. I think nowadays more than ever, you have a lot of trust in your kids to know that they're not going to be doing anything wrong. And it's obviously the parents' job to instill that into their minds. A lot of parents are a lot more carefree, like, I let them do whatever they want. They're their own person, which is great. They are their own person. They have their own ideas, but there's still morals and lessons you can teach them, and still let them be their own person. I'm not trying to get too preachy on this podcast, but
Oh no, no, you're
every,
fine.
every so often I think we need to throw our own personal opinions in there because that's the whole point of an interview, is
Well,
to get your own personal views.
no, I totally agree with you. So
Yeah.
you have my support.
Yeah, well, I'm glad about that. The last thing I want is confusion and disagreement on a video. So we're coming up to like almost an hour now. So I guess the last question I have for you is, what is the future of your channel? Like, what's coming up that you can tell me? Like a sneak peek of like what can we expect from you?
I just jumped back on the server that I was invited to, oh good golly, a few months ago. I'll probably be adding that back in. A few people seem to like that. If I can just get people to do some more building on it, so we have something to show.
Yeah.
And I think I'll probably ramp up a bit more of my the medieval tutorials. Maybe try 2 of them in a week and see how that does, rather than, because now I think sometimes I'm running maybe once every 1 week or once every 2 weeks. So it's not, I don't know if it's really frequent enough to catch on. So I'm probably going to ramp that up a bit more. And then one of my biggest goals is to get my my editing and my thumbnails and things like that down. So you probably see some of those changing frequently in the next coming months till I get a good system that I'm happy with. So
yeah. Well, what I do, I actually pay for my thumbnails. But I've got a graphics creator who makes them dead cheap, and I get them to make ones where I can use it for every single video. It's like basically like a picture frame on my thumbnails, and I put a different picture inside for every video. And those are my favorite types of thumbnails that I use, because you only have to pay for it once and you can use it forever.
Ooh.
So that might be something that you want to consider as well. I'll give you a link to the guy who I use. He's dead friendly.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah. Grumpy did something similar a while back, and I messed that all up completely. And then we kind of changed what the look of the thumbnail was anyway. But yeah, I'd appreciate that. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's pretty much my. There won't be nothing, major or anything like that, unfortunately. So it would just be more of the norm.
Yeah, well, one thing about you, like that could change tomorrow. Is one of the brilliant things about YouTube, is you just get a different, like you can just wake up with an idea. Like I'm going.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, you are right. I mean, because we do get those crazy hairs sometimes, and it's like, I think I'm just going to take a complete U-turn here.
Yeah. Well, I kind of did that myself a few months ago. Like I haven't posted Minecraft videos in like just over 2 months because I just found different games. Like, oh, I really want to record that, and then it just happens. And there's nothing wrong with that. Unfortunately, when you do that, you do lose a bit of your fan base because they expect certain videos from you. And when you stop providing them for a little bit of time, they do sometimes leave.
But, yeah, it is. I agree. It's a little finicky, you could say. Yep.
Yeah. But again, that's just part of YouTube, and you usually get the real fans. You'll always find stay on your channel no matter what. They're not watching your videos for what you're playing. They're watching your videos for you. And
yeah, I've been lucky there. You're right about that one.
Yeah, especially in our little Twitter group. Again, our last message was like, if you want to come join our little Twitter group, it's not even little anymore. Our Twitter group's huge now.
Yeah, we've gotten pretty big.
Yeah, it's all. I mean, I was already a thing before I joined. Before you joined as well, like it was. I think Cap is definitely the leader of our Twitter group that we've got going. He's literally the captain.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the name and title fit perfect.
Yeah, and like CTU Bruce, like the mom of the group.
Yep.
She looks after all of us.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We might have to get him shirts for Christmas like that. That'd be perfect.
But yeah, it's our very, very last question. I've asked this to every single person I've recorded for. Is there anything you want to say to the viewers before we finish off?
I mean, I always sorry, there's the omen. I did very well through this. I just appreciate the support. When I started, my biggest goal for subs was, if I hit 30 subs, I was going to be tickle pink. I don't know why I came up with that number. I think I'm at 79 now. So I just really appreciate all y'all support.
You're almost at 100, which is like triple digits.
Oh my goodness. I've already told my wife I might just have a mini heart attack that day. But yeah, I just, all y'all support, you included. I mean, to say I couldn't do it without anybody. I mean, I know I could, but it wouldn't be the same. It really wouldn't. So I appreciate all the support, and I will continue to do my part to help everybody, and just love what I do. So I thank everybody.
That's great.
And thank you for this opportunity. This has really been cool.
Yeah, I'm glad I've enjoyed it as well. I'm glad you have. I'm sure everyone listening has enjoyed this as well. And for those who are listening and you've made it all the way to the end, well done. I'm gonna have all of Tim's stuff in the description, so his Twitter, his YouTube, anything else I can find. It's all gonna be down there below, so go check it out. Obviously, he's a great builder. He does all the medieval stuff. So if you like medieval builds, this is the YouTuber to check out. Check out his channel. Great person. His Twitter, again, it's not all. I hate YouTubers who go on Twitter and only post YouTube related stuff. No, we're all actual people who put out opinions into it as well. And it's very active there. So everything's gonna be in the description below. So go check him out. And again, I think I'm not even sure who my next guest is going to be on my podcast, so that's going to be a surprise for me as well, because I've got loads of people who want to come and have the interview done. And so thank you to everybody who watched. I'm losing my words now. Thank you to everybody who's watched this. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. See you later.
Bye.